Pakistan's road to digitization has been an arduous one. Online banking is full of inefficiencies, from adding new beneficiaries to waiting for the confirmation that the payment has been made. Whereas the world has moved on to new technologies that make payments more instant. And for a country that has time and again resisted the kind of change in terms of money going online, even the smallest of inefficiencies, let alone these very basic problems, are a deterrent stopping people from using online services. That is why the State Bank of Pakistan is introducing Rast, a government-backed micropayment gateway that is promising to bring sweeping changes in the financial technology infrastructure at no direct cost for the end consumer. Rast is going to be a brilliant idea for the end consumer in more than one way. Transactions will be fast and take place in real time, and there will be other ease of access points that the central bank hopes will encourage the digital payments revolution they're trying to achieve. For banks, Rast would mean that they're free from the inefficiencies of OneLink, Pakistan's largest interbank network, and the delays caused by the IBFT transfer system. The introduction of Rast, however, also means that the banks are on their toes with regards to fintech companies coming in and giving them competition. Taimur Hassan investigates the ins and outs of State Bank's Rast initiative. Currently, most online interbank banking takes place through OneLink, the 11-bank consortium that also runs the ATM machines network in Pakistan. It is through OneLink and its interbank funds transfer system that the money goes from one account to another. Since it has already been difficult enough getting Pakistanis used to this, the interface of banking applications operating through these systems will not change, but the infrastructure behind them will. Essentially, Rast is promising 4 changes in the upcoming stages. To begin with understanding what Rast is and how it works, let us look at these targets or use cases that they're trying to achieve. Currently, OneLink, through the IBFT system, transfers money between accounts seemingly instantly, but settles the transfer bills between banks in bulk once at the end of the working day. This means that if you transfer Rs 2,000 from your Bank Al-Falah account to a friend's Allied Bank account, the money will appear in their account within minutes and they will be able to spend it. However, the Allied Bank will not be able to get that money in deposits until the end of the day. Because of this, payments sometimes get cut from one account but do not appear in the other account. And when this happens, it takes a few days for the dispute to be settled. Under Rast, the payments will happen in real time and the dispute rate will be 0%. In comparison, currently 23,916 transactions fail in Pakistan every day, which is 3%. The second use case under Rast is bulk payments. Under bulk payments, with a single click, multiple transactions can be made. That means that if you want to pay salaries of 500 employees, instead of crediting their accounts individually, under bulk payments, all 500 will be credited at once. Now, this is another simple and compelling feature of Rast that will add to ease of making digital financial transactions, deterring cash transactions and promoting financial inclusion. Through this, you can link your account number to a unique alias, like a username. Now, instead of having to use your full account number, people can simply use your username to send money to you and to add you as a payee on their banking application. Request to pay or pull payments, as they're known in the digital payments nomenclature, are the opposite of funds transfers, under which payments are pushed from one account to another. Currently, for example, if you want to pay your child's school fee through an online transaction, you add the school as a beneficiary and pay your child's fee. Under Request to Pay, your child's school can ask its bank to enable Request to Pay for fee payments, and instead of sending you a fee voucher, you will receive a message or an email from the school informing you that your child's fee is due with a request to pay. You agree to pay through a link in the message and email, and your child's school fee is processed. All of these services are primed to make online banking in Pakistan easier than ever. However, there is a question that why the central bank is launching Rast and why they felt the need to use a heavy-handed approach to get banks on board. Now, ideally, a system like Rast to fix any wrongs should have been created by the private sector and not the State Bank of Pakistan. The banks are already grumbling about the fact that they have very little choice coming on board Rast because the directive is coming from the State Bank of Pakistan. but that is also precisely the point. If Rast had been launched by a private company, the banks would never have taken the bait. To put it in simpler words, the State Bank wanted a fintech company to come in, connect to the existing network of online banking, and use that digital infrastructure to create a platform that banks and fintech could all use to encourage immediate payments and smoother interoperability between banks. However, this was never going to work. Why? Because banks hate fintech companies cropping up and take them as direct competitors. So they were never willingly going to come on board a system created by a fintech company and pay them money for it. Now, in a parallel, harmonious and logical world, interoperability between various financial institutions was necessary, whereby a fintech company's application could be used to make payments to and from any bank or wallet. But because of the antagonism between the banks and the fintech companies, it was virtually impossible. Thus, the central bank had no choice but to step in. So what, you ask? After all, are they not being proactive and getting the job done? Well, yes, but there is a problem with that. The important question is, who regulates the regulator as long as it owns the project? The State Bank is a powerful regulator that gets its way around doing things, and the banks are wary of dealing with the regulator. However, the State Bank assured us that even though they are regulators with goals for the economy, they are a rational regulator that has to comply with international standards of regulating financial institutions. The possibility has worried many. The central bank, however, is possibly going to act rational. It knows where and when it is transgressing and makes amends when it does. But that is only a prediction and a hope. Whether it stays that way, we will just have to wait and see.